I'm going to do a video on how I make my basing compound that I use, because it's much cheaper to make your own than to use commercial products. This is my basing compound. I use it on all my figures, all my scenery, everything like that, and as you can see I make quite a lot of it at a time, and this pot will last me usually 5 to 6 months depending on what I'm doing. So there are 3 components. The first component is paint. This is Dulux matte emulsion, vinyl matte. It's colour matched to my chosen base colour, which in its own turn was colour matched to the commercial product I used to use, which was Bastex. This was very expensive overall. You can get a pot like this. This is 2.5 litres. A pot like this is £20. You can get a 1 litre pot for about £10, and if you don't want a particular colour, you just want to go in and buy like a sand colour or an earth colour or a grass colour, you can just pick a match pot, I suppose, off the shelf. But basically the initial outlay isn't a huge amount, and you'll be using the paint for other things. I'm going to make a little jar because my big jar is mostly full, so I use a blister pack just to put some paint in this. Now the joy of this is there's no measuring. Okay, you can do this and get it right first time. I was very worried that I would have to remember a formula, but you don't actually. This is going to be a mixture of glue and this paint and sand. That'll do us. Right, there we go. Okay, so it's a little messy doing it in a small pot because you're so near the edge. I'm just going to get rid of that there in there. Put that in. I don't want to, I'm going to be throwing this away in a minute, and I don't want to throw away too much. There we go, that'll do. Got 2.5 litres after all. So let's stand this on, just give this a wipe. If you do it in a big pot, of course, you don't tend to spill it down the side because it's a lot easier just to slop it into the main bit. Okay, so we're done with that. There's our paint. Come here, paint lid. I'm trying to do this without getting covered in paint. This can be a clean process. There we go. Okay, that's the paint. The next component, PVA glue. This is PVA glue. I buy it from Hobbycraft. I'm sure you can get it any kind of model shops, whatever. I'm going to keep wiping myself here because... Right, and you do about the same amount of glue as you had paint. So you stick it up and you go, oh. I do a little less usually, but it doesn't matter. That'll do. No measuring. PVA glue. That's your final thing. Okay. And then we give this a bit of a stir just to start mixing in before we add the final ingredient, which is sand. So again, this doesn't take very long to sort of get mixed up. That'll do it. Alright, here's the sand. There's an opening somewhere. There it is. Okay. Now, I use fine sand. You can get sand everywhere. I buy mine off eBay in little amounts because I pay extra for the convenience. If you want to go to a builder's merchant, you can get lots of it. This is fine sand because I want mine to be a paste. If you want stick some sand in here. If you want a grittier look to your basing, then get some larger particle sand. I add my larger particles afterwards, so this is merely the sort of covering paste that goes on, and then I add talus, and finally I add static grass. And I move the sand because we're done. You can feel from the viscosity whether it's thick enough. Let me get this out of the way. There we go. Muck. Everything's stored on the floor, so that's pretty good. You don't want it runny, but you don't want it to be too... I might add a little bit more. See how it goes as it's all... Yeah, maybe a little bit. Tiny bit more sand. The sand is what... I'm going to do it over the pot, sorry. The sand is what determines the thickness. Of the final paste. And the thickness will change over time as you store it, but this is instant. You can thin it by adding more paint, you can thin it by adding more glue, you can thin it by adding water. It's really very easy to use and to keep workable. This is, you know, there we go. So that pretty much spot on. There we go. So normally I wouldn't make it in such a small container. It does come with its own problems. That'll do. Give this a clean. It's a single coffee stirrer, but I can use it again if I clean it off. I got my Manky painting t-shirt on as well, so apologise for my lack of sartorial elegance. Alright, there we go. That's it. Done. I'll just give because I'm going to put the top on, give this a clean so the seal's good. There we go. All sorted. That's it. The basing compound is done. And give it a done. Now the cost of this is, say you buy a litre of paint, so £10 for the paint, £5 for the glue. My sand I bought, I think it was about £3, and this pot was pretty much full when I bought them. So you're looking at less than £20, and that'll make you onto about 3 litres of this when you're done. Very easy, very quick, very cheap, and you're not beholden to anyone for being in stock with the product you need. So that's it. I hope that was helpful. In the next video I'm going to show you how I use it to base a miniature, and we'll see how that goes.